Common Sense Media activated.
Live from the 210, it's the Wave of the Few Short Show, and we are your hosts, Mr. Trey M. Carr, and I am E. James.
Welcome everybody to another episode of Wave of the Few Shore, also known as WFS, where we like to navigate the waters of life. This episode, it's a very special episode for us coming around. It's our 1-year anniversary officially, so we'll be making sure that we take our time and do a deep dive, look back over the past year, the ups, the downs, the good, the bad, just kind of all encompassing, not just the show, but us personally in life. It's been a tumultuous year, to say the least. But before we get into all of that, just got to start it off how we do, man. How we doing today, guys? Celebrating 1 year. How we feeling?
That's how I'm feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah, guys. Happy anniversary. Do you know what today is?
Do you?
You forgot our anniversary. I'm mad at you.
Sorry.
Boom, 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 boom. Sorry. I showed up like, what? Is this our anniversary? You want to go to Olive Garden? No, it's Outback. I got the blooming onion.
Well, yeah, but I got a homie that works at Red Lobster.
Just to get some cheddar biscuits.
Yeah.
He's got the hookup on the biscuits, man.
Hey, Juan can keep bringing them. Don't worry. Oh, man.
Fellas, happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary,
brother.
guys, man.
Yeah.
I love you guys.
Love you.
Love you too, man. This has been awesome. It's been a heck of a year. As Mr. Trey said, we've had ups, downs. I would say as a crew, not necessarily downs with us, but the world around us, and hence the name, navigating the waters of life.
Yeah. We didn't lose our paddle this year, which is nice. We all were rowing. So,
Yeah.
water illusions aside, it has been up and down. It's been all around. It's always like nice to look back fondly without having to, let it still drive you. I think the things that we have all gone through collectively has pushed us forward rather than just hold us back, which I'll speak for all of us and say that we've all made like leaps and bounds with whatever we've been trying to throw ourselves at.
In preparation for this episode, I watched that TV show, Our Flag Means Death.
What's that?
It's got Reese Darby. He's like a rich dude who wants to be a pirate. He left his wife and kids to be a pirate, and he's trying to like have this murderous crew. It's stupid, but it's hilarious. It's directed by Taika Waititi.
Oh, okay.
The guy who does my least favorite Thor movies. When anything outside of Thor that he does, I like it.
Yeah. He's irreverent. Yeah.
Yeah. So what are we going to talk about today, brother?
Man, like I said, year look back is really what we're doing here. Just kind of reflect on what's come, what's gone, what's come for us, what's left for us, what kind of changes we've made individually and as a crew, kind of how we've formed the momentum that we've formed. But before we get into all of that, we do have to do what we do and start the week off giving our gratitude. So who do y'all have gratitude to show to this week? Spread the love.
I want to shout out my mother and my father, Mama Car and Papa Truck. I love them. As we get older, we start kind of seeing that we have more limited time with our folks. And it's not always like, oh, these are the golden years or whatever. But I find that the time we're spending as adults and just me seeking answers that I'd never had questions for previously is always getting answered differently now. And
Yeah, man.
I look upon them for guidance. I mean, not as much as I used to when I was a kid, but now the things that they do give me are very valuable. And I appreciate that. I appreciate my mom, like taking care of Gracie and stuff when I'm gone. And my dad too, just being there, just like giving something to me if I don't even need it, or he's just really happy whenever I stop by and just bring stuff for him. And I like
things, man.
Yeah, we share like a lot of things in common, like coins and stuff like that. And I won't get too much into that, but like, yeah, it's nice seeing his eyes light up whenever I bring new stuff over. Because, yeah, I mean, grew up with a book of nickels, like Buffalo nickels. And
That's what's up, man.
so he sees me kind of doing that now.
I love it. I
Me
love
too, man. Never get enough time in that regard, so I love it, man.
Yeah.
How about you, Mr. E? Who you got some love for today?
I got love for, first of all, my wife. That's a little bit of a double tap, but our anniversary was last weekend, and now we are going to see Maxwell this weekend. So I'm fortunate. No, I'm not going to sing in your ear, but we're taking the girls. That's the caveat. That'll be interesting. They're like not their first concert. It's my youngest. That is, it's her first concert.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, they love Maxwell. So they were, when they found out we were going, they're like, "We want to go." I was like, "Really? It's supposed to be me and mom's time." But all right, so that should be cool. It's a venue over by like where is it? Port San Antonio. There's some new venue. I never even heard of it.
Techport Arena?
I think that's what it's called.
Yeah, that one's supposed to be like the big new one.
Oh, is it? Yeah, I never even heard it. When my wife told me, I was like, "What is that?" Yeah, I was like, "Are we going gun store, liquor store, gun store? Where you taking to me?"
Yeah.
Shout out to Chappelle once again. But yeah, we're doing that, and then a bigger or even bigger shout out to the Chasm crew. These two fine gentlemen, my man Big Rich, the debut of Dad Mode hit a few weeks ago, or almost a month ago now.
Yeah.
And episode 2 just dropped earlier in the week. Go check it out. We're doing Dad Year 1, and his lovely wife, who behind the scenes has been working wonders for all of us now.
Yeah.
Check the social medias. She's doing a thing for all of us. We really love what you're doing there, Mrs. Murray. And also my man Skexy, who is wanting to try to get involved, but right now he's just doing a lot of like consulting, giving a lot of feedback and advice. He's like a really good advisor. We got some tech projects we want to do that we're working on that are coming down the pipe. So that should be cool. And then also little housekeeping just for us. We're on YouTube now, people. YouTube, the two Ubes.
Yeah, dude.
Hey, if you want to go listen to the back catalog at WFS, it's all there at Wave of the Few Shore. It's audio only. Clips coming soon. Maybe. I don't know. Stay tuned.
We'll see.
F around and find out.
F-A-F-O. There you go.
I like that.
Faffle.
Yeah, Faffle.
That sounds like Samoan. He's Faffle.
Yeah, dude.
About you, Trey?
Man, for me, special 1 year gratitude to all of you guys out there that have been listening. Whether you've been here from the beta episodes that we were doing to episode 1, if your first episode was episode 24, thank you for lending us your ear, for lending us your time, and for riding the wave with us. It's been a crazy year. It's been a great year. I feel like every episode we get better. We've found our momentum and our rhythm, and I think you can really hear that in our episodes. So thank y'all for lending us your time. And then a little second side piece, the original Wavy Babies. Thank y'all for this beautiful 1 year anniversary piece that we were able to display for our first crew live shoot that we're attempting here today. The kids made this. Ease, 2 little ones, my daughter, put some time in and surprised us with this great piece of art. So thank y'all.
Yeah, it's the original Wavy Babies. That was well put, by the way.
Yeah. They even got our font. Look at that. They got our font.
Yeah, I can't really zoom in.
Still, that's a beaubeautiful gesture. They put
You know what, though? We'll put up on IG.
Yes.
Yeah.
IG.
Follow us at Wave of the Few Shore, at WFS Show on the tweets.
Yeah, they used all our favorite colors too. Thank y'all, kiddos.
Yeah.
It was really customized. Yeah.
Yeah. So before we get into our year look back, our deep dive, just a little, I guess, double tap back from one of our early episodes. Did y'all hear about the recent Josh Primo news? What's going on?
I was hoping you were going to say a little step back. Shout out to basketball. Yeah, man. Former Spurs player. We're not going to get deep into sports for those who listen and hate sports. You know who you are.
We're just going to whip it out real quick.
Oh, the original Flash. Now you don't.
Man.
Yeah.
That was good. That was a good one. Well, for those of y'all who don't know, last year, Josh Primo was part of one of the biggest scandals that the Spurs have had in a long time, since the claw incident and
the French wife assassin.
I was going to say the French Connection. Yeah. Oui, my friend.
He said TP9 is just not a number on the jersey.
Tony, yo, Tony, chill. The goalpost got you wilding, bro.
Oh man, but yeah, Primo last year released by the Spurs for, I guess you can say, indecent exposure to I think it was a therapist.
Yeah.
Is the way you would put that. He spent just about a year out of the league, and then all of a sudden, X, Twitter, whatever you're on, started filling up with Josh Primo suspension notifications coming up. So the league suspended him for 4 games, which had all of us talking like, "Hey, like, why? Like, he wasn't even on a team."
Right.
A couple hours later, it does come out that the Clippers have officially signed him to a 2-way deal, have him bouncing back and forth between the G League, but threw him a hook. So just what do you guys think about that, bringing it back up after all this time?
If we're talking real quick X's and O's, having him go back and forth between the G League, because as you said, he's a year removed from the game, kind of makes sense. I suspect that he'll be playing on their roster really quick because he was a solid point guard, good ball player. He was part of like their future. He was supposed to be the number one on their roster. They were trying to go big.
Yeah, they're
at all positions.
Yeah, they're forming the team around him.
Yeah. So he's supposed to be a very big cog in that wheel, but he couldn't keep it in his pants, quite literally. So that's what happens.
The way I see it is you got to be on a team to be suspended. So if it's going to be anybody, it's going to be the Clippers. And that's as a casual Clippers fan too.
As a total aside, real quick, you said X and it triggered me.
Yeah.
So when I was uploading those videos to YouTube, I forgot we made reference to the X name change, and I played Exhibit X. We got our first copyright strike on YouTube. Because if you listen to the audio on YouTube, you'll hear me mention, actually on all the shows, you'll hear in anything outside of YouTube, you'll hear the clip play. It's less than 10 seconds. It's probably 10 to 15, maybe. I'm sure it's less than 10 seconds. But I even mentioned, hey, let me stop playing this so we don't get a copyright strike. Nah, YouTube, they were quick, bro. They were like, money that can't be played in certain countries.
Yeah.
So I had to go in, and the cool thing, and I'll give them a shout out. The cool thing is they pinpointed that one spot, they trimmed it, and it was a seamless transition where I was like, all right, let's stop playing that. So it skips from one to the other.
Well, smart.
That's dope.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. I know some people get upset when they get those copyright strikes, but hey, you're not a YouTuber unless you get one, I guess.
Yeah. Now we know we're officially in the game, right?
Exactly. But yeah, Primo, man. I mean, I'm happy that the guy's getting a second chance because I think honestly that's something that can be learned. He can learn from his mistakes. Obviously, there's a mental issue, so I mean, that's one of those offenses that you can come back from, in my opinion. What do you guys think?
Especially when you're so young. What is he? Maybe 22. I don't have it up in front of me, but I want to say he's probably right around 22. So you would hate to see your entire future because you misled you misread, I guess you could say, the lady, or thought she one thing or another, felt a certain type of way, did something you shouldn't have did, but.
He's Canadian, man. Maybe that's just the way they say hello. I don't know if they're really comfortable with you. It's like, hey.
I'm sure that's how Drake greets people. But
there's a lot going on.
He's the biggest superstar.
That's a whole episode, dude. That's an OVO WFS combo episode.
Oh my gosh.
I'm not willing to go there.
Man, we just alienated an entire country.
Oh, we're gonna get negative listens.
Sorry to my friend Dana up there. You know who you are. I'm so sorry, Dana.
Do y'all feel 4 games was enough? How y'all feel about the 4 games?
So do y'all think word was just floating around all the orgs in the NBA just kind of about him this last year going like, hey, I mean, he's up for grabs, but he's going to be out this majority of the time in the season. I'm pretty sure that's why D-League was a big factor and all that stuff too, because you can get the guy, but if you're going to pay for him, you got to use him, right?
Yeah.
So many innuendos.
Yeah.
Up for grabs, the D-League. It's actually now the G League, by the way.
Oh, G League.
D-League, G League, it's all Primo going. I mean, we can.
Yeah, so he banished himself to the shadow realm. We'll just put it that way.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
But either way, I mean, it costs money to get a guy drafted. I'm pretty sure the Clippers got a great deal, and I'm pretty sure there's some sort of stipulation. And I'm pretty sure they weighed the cost of potentially reaching playoffs at the cost of 4 opening games. It could just be a strategy to build a team. Maybe Kawhi needs help, this and that. Technically, they might see him as a good fit. Like, the way he runs through. And
Per the conversation I had with my barber yesterday, Kawhi don't need the help. He needs to help them.
Yeah.
He needs to play on the court.
Yeah, he's a mercenary for hire, and he's like not in it right now. But
Not for hire.
Yeah, man.
Either way, I don't know. It's interesting, man. The Clippers are like notorious for kind of doing unpopular things, being rowdy. Like not rowdy like the way it used to be in the 90s and stuff with what was the rowdy team that Barkley was on?
Oh, the Sixers?
Something like that.
The Suns,
Yeah, but you can go to the Sixers,
Rockets.
you can go to the Pistons. There's a lot of
Detroit. Yeah, Detroit was like I don't know. They're not like that, but they do pull controversial things, and it seems in line with the organization.
I want to say one last thing on this, and it's not lost on me that Josh Primo is playing for a man named Steve Ballmer.
I'm just
Developers.
I'm just gonna wish the kid luck, man. I hope you can bounce back. I was really excited to have you as a Spur. Understand why you're not there. Give him his 4-game suspension and let him go, and let the Clippers just continue to enjoy the Spurs sloppy second.
And hope your game is at Microsoft.
Yeah, dude.
It's not a shadow in the shadow realm.
Just remember, just because you're in the public eye doesn't mean you're gonna be protected. So you'll get popcorn thrown at you for what happened. So live with it,
This is
man.
LA we talking about.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, especially out there in
Whole
LA.
different set of rules in LA. It's California.
But, just wanted to, just bring that back up since it's in the news. It's a little relevant right now.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny how it came up just as we were gearing up for this. So
Yeah.
had to throw that in there. But now it's time to really kind of get into it. It's been a year, man. And there have been a lot of great things that have come to fruition for us in this past year. But we have also lost some things, some relationships, some people. And that's a great way to put it and dive in there. If we want to start off, just what kind of relationships have you seen dissolve, or how have you seen those things dissolve over the last year for you?
And how have you handled it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess I'll start before we all get personal. It's going to be dorky. You guys don't listen to Blink-182, but they're back together in their original form. So, yeah, Tom and Mark were like best friends growing up, and Tom went away to go hunt aliens. And I'm not going to get into all that.
Angels and Airways, man.
Yeah, dude.
I have one question. When you say original, first drummer or Barker? Travis Barker?
Yeah, Travis Barker.
Okay.
Yeah, Scott Rayner's not in the picture. So the core group that everybody grew up with, right? Like
Gotcha.
Mark, Tom, and Travis show.
Gotcha.
So they're all back together. This whole records that's coming up is actually talking about their disillusion and everything that happened like dramatically with each other. That's all on the record. Like their big single right now is called One More Time. And they talk about just how literally everybody almost died, and they didn't have to get that far to just start rekindling their friendships. Like Mark got cancer. Travis fell out of the sky.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. He died. He almost died because one of his buddies died on that plane crash too. But yeah, it was like he fell out of the sky in a plane crash, and the guy was afraid to ride a plane for like a very long time.
Yeah.
But yeah, all these guys came together. They had a dialogue. I'm really looking forward to the interview that they're going to have with the guy from Apple Music, Zane Lowe.
Yeah, he gets everybody, man.
Yeah, he does.
He gets him in a very comfortable position to talk about these kinds of things. So I think it's in the public eye with everybody right now. There's a lot to unpack there, especially with kids like me that grew up with Blink. It's interesting to see that in the public eye, especially when we all have interpersonal relationships like that have dissolved. But yeah, this just a nice way to open that up because it's pop. You know what I mean? It's like everybody's like thinking about it if they know about Blink. It's like, oh damn, they're back together. But it happens like that in life. We see people rotate in and out. We see people leave and come and go, and sometimes they're fortunate enough to make amends. But in a year's time, you see how things just dissolve at first, right? So we're not like bringing up a closed door forever when it comes to these kinds of things. It's just this is the first phase of these kinds of things, and it can end forever too. I'm not saying it doesn't. It's just sometimes things grow and people change.
No, I think that's a beautiful way to put it. Through the past year or so, I've had a very close personal friend of mine that we've kind of gone through a similar situation, really. Park, my best buddy from 15, 16, 17 years. I don't know how long it's getting now. It's been a long time though. I've known that dude since our 6th grade.
Can I chime in and say that that these two used to come to my house when they were in high school? When Trey would stay at the weekends at my house and play video games like forever.
Yeah, man. We've been around it, and that's my partner in crime for a long time. We've really never had any type of argument or any type of, I guess you can say, like breakup, to kind of put it. And we've recently kind of had one that I think just kind of fits with this topic. We've been making music for forever. That's really kind of where we clicked. History, 7th grade, got a project, sharing headphones, and the next thing you know, we're just spitting raps and making music together, man. He was in band, I was in band. So the creativity has always just kind of synced up and been there. And we were supposed to shoot a video. And this is bad on my part because it was his video. But we went through, linked up night before, trying to get everything, iron things out right. And the thing that we had agreed upon, we were trying to expound, like, okay, what else can we do? There's one song that we made probably a while ago that he really wanted to just kind of include in the video that we were getting ready to shoot. And it was a very personal song for me. And I'm like, nah, man, if we're going to do that video, I have a vision, And it's back and forth, got out of hand, man. I was all the way down in Corpus Christi. That's where he stays at. And I was supposed to stay at his house, and we just couldn't let it go throughout the night. And so I just, packed up and left and didn't talk to that dude for months, like months. I think that was in April or May.
I think so.
And we're in September now. We just reconciled. It took a lot of tequila, but we were able to reconcile, which I honestly thank God for, because like I said, that's my best friend. That's the first friend I've ever had that is family, not friend. Really kind of blurred those lines for me. Glad that we were able to pick it up and get going. I was just talking about him the other day. We're trying to get back up. Okay, dude, I got some tracks for you. Let's kind of get going back to what we normally do when we link it. But it's scary, man, to think about how those long-term relationships can just dissolve so instantly, and how you can grow apart and look at somebody one day and be like, dude, I don't even know who you are anymore, where you're coming from anymore. It doesn't really click or link. And I'm glad, again, we reconciled. But before I had a quote from Tupac that I think really... it just stuck with me with this situation. I think it would run well with what we're talking about. Just because you lost me as a friend doesn't mean you gained me as an enemy. I'm bigger than that. I want to see you eat, just not at my table. And I'm glad that we're able to share the table again. But even if for some reason we did not or were not able to fix that, it's never hate or ill will with those people that you just disconnect with, I feel. Yeah. And again, glad we were able to bring it back all together, but never any hate or ill will. You just grow apart sometimes. It's human nature, I suppose.
Yeah. Shout out to Park, man.
Love you, bro.
I love that dude. He is like family to me too. When that dude comes down, when Trey lived in Houston, Park would come up from Corpus or wherever. He and I would go hang out. And that is a very charismatic dude. We would go out sometimes. I could talk to anybody. That dude is such a free spirit. We would go to a bar and we'd walk in the same door together and we'd be separated for like 15 minutes. I'd come back with people. He'd come back with people. They would be talking and then we would be looking at each other like they don't even know each other. And then we would just disappear. There'd be like 20 people in the area and we just walk away.
Look at all these people we brought together.
Yeah. And it's just like, it was crazy, So yeah, I'm glad you guys reconciled. That's what I'm trying to say, because I love that dude, and we got to get him on the show one day.
Yeah, we do.
We got to work that out. So I wanted to address a couple of things. One of them I've danced around since January. I used to be the host of a show called Edge Free Show. We had Free on Wave of the Free Show. It was one of our most popular episodes. Yeah. People give us great feedback. People still ask me about Edge Free Show. They didn't realize I had 2 podcasts. Like, you haven't put anything out since January. I'm like, I've been working all this whole time. What are you talking about? People didn't realize that WFS was the other show. So that's kind of helped bolster our audience too. I'm like, if you like what we're doing, parlay that over here. So I have been friends with Free for almost a decade. I met this dude at Sam Ash. He was going to buy a guitar, or he was looking at some guitars. Some dude tried to tell him some bull jive, because, we're for the kids. Tried to tell him some bull jive. I walked up to this brother and I said, nah, that's not it. You don't want that. Trust me. He ended up buying a guitar that he sold because Free, like me, went through the gear cycle heavy for years, for a lot of years. And I'm nearing the end of that journey, but that's neither here nor there. We ended up jamming together, me, him, my boy Devon, who's like another brother to me. I can't wait for you guys to meet Devon. That he lives up in Ohio. Shout out to my man D. Love you, dude. But we had a little 3-piece band, and then Skexy joined us playing the other guitar, and we formed a band called Pastiche that was really short-lived. Sucks, but things happen. Still remain friends. Just the band didn't work out, right? Fast forward, we have all these long conversations all the time. You and I, long conversations. I'm looking at Trey for those who are listening. Me and Carr, long, thoughtful conversations. And I'm like, I think these are dudes I need to make podcasts with. In addition to Free and my boy Noel, who I spent 3 hours on the phone with yesterday, talking to him like a schoolgirl, man.
What are you talking about? What are you thinking about?
Right. Just because, we don't talk as much as we want to. So when we do, it's hours.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was the beginning of Chasm, of doing all these shows. We did Edge Free showing at the same time as WFS, all these beta shows. You guys remember those days? Mm-hmm. All right. Well, I got to talk to Free today. You guys get next weekend. He's got the weekend after. And that's why we started the bi-weekly cycle, because I'm producing. I'm like, I need space to learn the tools, right? Now we're comfortable. We can go weekly if we wanted to. Stay tuned. So good run of shows. We were supposed to do the Dead Internet Theory Part 2, featuring our man Carr over here. And
it's conspiracy, man.
And I'm just going to give you a spoiler alert. We're bringing that to WFS. That's just, I want to talk about that. We did that episode with just Free and I, but I felt like we left a lot of meat on the table.
Yeah.
And this is right up all three of ours wheelhouse. So couldn't get scheduling down. And we were trying to work around his schedule. And every time we were trying to work around his schedule, there were some excuses. I'm not going to go into all the intricate details. Never cursed at the dude, got angry per se like that, but it was frustrating. And then he just stopped showing up. We're supposed to record. Never heard back from him. I try not to, as you guys know, I try not to act too bossy, even though technically I own Chasm. I try not to act too bossy and be like, hey, you need to do this, you need to do that. Because I got 3 kids. They all play sports. And I'm a musician and all kinds of stuff. So I get it. Life happens. I made a judgment call, and I said, all right, I'm pulling his access to everything. And I haven't heard from Free since. I still love that dude like a brother, but he obviously didn't think much of our relationship because he hasn't tried to contact me. I don't feel I did anything wrong. I kept trying to work with him. This wasn't the first time that happened. When you guys were here, Trey was a little miffed because Free doesn't like to clean up after himself. We did it Wave of the Free show. That dude was ready to walk out of the door and have the 3 of us clean everything up. Trey was looking at me like, get your man. So I'm not going to get too personal, but that was a relationship that I cherished because I saw that guy's growth as a person. And I really thought that we were going to kick some butt doing Edge Free show at the same time doing WFS. It was just a different vibe and I really enjoyed it. And so if you've ever been wondering what happened to that show, that is the nitty gritty. Free, if you listen to the show, you can feel free to hit us up on social media, tell your side of the tale. You can come over here and we can talk it out. But I want to make sure that I give everybody the complete picture without getting into the minutia. The other one that really, really, really hurts me more than the thing with Free. This dude was close to both Trey and I. He was in my wedding, one of my groomsmen. Yeah. I fell out with my friend Lo. I've been friends with this dude for almost 20 years. He used to date Trey and I's cousin. Shout out, Shawnee. Love you. He used to date our cousin. Now, I'm not going to get into the man's personal business. I'm going to give you a few character highlights to show how good of a dude this cat was. Got in trouble when he was young, growing up in Georgia. Had a choice to either go to jail or join the Army. He joined the Army. He served his country honorably, did 20-something years, retired honorably. His daughter goes to an HBCU. His son, he's raising his son out in New Mexico, doing a fantastic job. I got nothing but respect for the cat. There are some, I don't want to say bad opinions, but some opinions on people's lifestyles that he and I disagree on. And we have a mutual friend group that we all, like a signal group, we all speak on. We're all remote, right? Except for 3 of us. 3 out of the 5 of us, or 6 of us, are here. And the other 3 are where they are. And I've noticed a pattern of behavior over the last couple years when he would say stuff, and I would just offer different perspectives. I wasn't trying to argue with him per se, but I was just trying to be like, hey man, that's a little iffy. You probably, I respect you, but you might want to be careful with what you're saying here and look at it from this perspective. What people do in their bedrooms or whatever, it's none of our business. Just leave it alone. Yeah. I'll stop it at that. But he would always come at me unsolicited. I wouldn't say nothing and always be like, why you got to always be PC? Why you always blah, 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 and always talking stuff. And I would just let it roll off because Trey and I come from a S-talking family. And I'm like, dude, you can't hold a candle to me. Like our grandfather, we were trained by our grandfather. That dude could talk smack better than anybody I know, better than most comedians. Like that dude could roast anybody without even knowing them. Like our papa, man, he could walk a room and be like, shh, like light work. So he would always try to talk trash to me. And it started at first I would kind of let it roll off my shoulders a little bit. All right, man, he's just doing his thing, whatever. But then it started to feel more personal. And he caught me on a bad day and I responded. I'm like, you got a problem with me? You can say it to my face. Well, he can't because he lives in a different state. So I said, call me, FaceTime me. Let's talk about it.
And directly.
Yeah. So he proceeded to say he could beat my A and all kinds of stuff. And he's like, call me. So I called him on FaceTime and I'm looking at my camera right here. And I was like this. For those of you who can't see, I'm just staring at my camera, blank, stoic, like, what's up with it? Then he kind of backpedaled a little bit. Why are you always trying to argue with me? We can't do it. Have a good time. I'm like, bro, I'm not trying to argue with you. I'm not picking on you. I'm just trying to offer you a different perspective. If I went into a crowd, right, and I yelled a bunch of racial slurs, I would expect in public that crowd to come at me and feel some type of way about it. Just like if you put it out in a public group chat, people are going to, if they feel some type of way about something, they're going to respond to that. That's just what people do. So he still talked about he could take me. And I was like, man, you wish. I'm like, I'll buy you a plane ticket out here, beat you behind at the airport.
One way only though.
And send you right on back. That's tough talk. That's toxic masculinity, as some would say. It's not one of my finer moments, but I was angry. I was frustrated because I didn't intend for this conversation to go that way. But I'm also not going to sit here and habitually let you talk stuff about me and no one else in the group, which to me identifies, you identify me as what you perceive to be the weak one. And I'm like, this dude is one of the most sensitive people I know. He's rage quit our chat multiple times over silly stuff. I'm like, I'm not the one to mess with. I don't play tough. I'm a family man. Cross my path, I'll crush you. I'll have you using the wheelchair, cane or crutches. Shout out Mr. Curtis Jackson, AKA 50 Cent. So I got tired of it. He proceeded to keep going on and on and on and on. And I took the gentleman's route. I bowed out of the conversation and I said, you know what? I'm done. I'm out of here. I'm not dealing with this. Now, having put all that information out there, I respect the dude. Love the dude like a brother still. We're going to get into, in our next topic, some changes that have been going on in our lives over the past year. Go ahead.
Yeah, before we do that, though, I didn't really answer the question.
Oh, gotcha.
So,
Real quick, let me just finish my thought real quick. I wasn't pivoting to that.
You're good.
Yeah, I wasn't pivoting to that. What I wanted to say is that sometimes in life, as changes occur, you can only carry so much with you through a door.
Yeah.
Whether you believe in God or not. If you're an atheist, no big deal. Or if you're Muslim or whatever, flying spaghetti monster. The world, the universe has a way of saying, this door is opening for you. But in order to walk through that door, to fit through that door, you got to drop a couple of bags off.
Mm-hmm.
I don't hate this man. I don't hate free. What I've learned is sometimes you got to put these bags down. I'm not going through that door with you. Edge Free show is never going to be it's never ever going to happen again. You've taught me how to treat you and how you treat me. My man Low, if you apologize, cool. But we can never be friends again.
Mm-hmm.
I don't hate you. We're not enemies, but I can't be friends with you because you've disrespected me way too much for me to allow you in my life. You don't deserve that.
Yeah.
Carr, the floor is yours, sir. Sorry.
Appreciate it, man. So, yeah, I talked about Blink, but I didn't really talk about me. Last year at this time, I was unemployed and not happily. I had spent about 5 years working at this place, and I think the whole time was just me kind of being at odds with everybody I worked with and myself, really, because I just didn't like my job. I tried to do it as best as I could, but I was in a different technical vocation that I was not like brought into. Like, I didn't study it or anything, so I was always trying to catch up. And a part of my incompetence grew to insecurity and ended up with me just like having bad impressions on people that were never going to see any differently in me. So I held myself back in the first couple years, and then the few years afterwards, there was always the consequences of my initial actions. Mm-hmm. So I had a bad reputation. I just always had a bad reputation at that place. People around me always kind of saw me as like a loose cannon. I never got the chances that I felt like I was entitled to, but I was also really entitled because I felt like I was above the work.
Gotcha.
So a lot of it comes from my own perspective and my sensitivity and my just lack of awareness about how things should be when you do things and how consequences roll through. So yeah, I tried to make like friends with everybody at work, which is not the way to really go about things, because you're not supposed to be best friends with everybody at work. But when you have a reputation like that, you try and fit in, you try and serve as like that's just like a jester, I guess, really. Just try and just do things like that. But it ended up just being like a really like condescending role to where like I just didn't get along with people, and it took me to get fired to finally like break free of that. And I haven't kept contact with the majority of anybody I used to work with because it was an ugly breakup. I left behind some work. I tried to do as best as I could with documentation, but I guess it just wasn't enough for that team to keep things going for the one thing I was assigned. And there was like a bad taste in everybody's mouth because of it, because you leave work behind, people try and get behind it and they can't make odds or ends of it. And I wasn't willing to talk to them after being fired about just helping them out because I didn't feel like I wasn't going to get paid for it.
Yeah, it's not my job no more, dude.
Yeah, which is understandable, but still there's just like there's that impression. And yeah, I don't speak with anybody there. It's there's a couple people where I'll say hi to every now and then stuff, but it's a lot of bags I got left behind because I was like the worst one, in my opinion. And it can be that way too. You can lose people because of you know, you can lose people because of the way you are. And I fully accept that. And I'm glad that things shook out the way they did, because I wouldn't be here where I am now and kind of where my headspace is at, because it took a lot of growth and a lot of inner change to get past like my own insecurities about the whole thing. Because being stuck in a career that doesn't make you better will make you worse. It's a hell. It's a hell where you make it hell for everybody around you, and then whatever opportunities you do get, you squander just because of an impression that you have laid out. And yeah, you could slowly kind of change people's minds and stuff, but at the back of their head, they'll always remember how your first impression was. And that was where I was always at there. So
I get it, man. I think coming from all of our perspectives in this, one thing that I kind of am drawing away from it is, as you grow, whether it's like self-initiated growth or growth that is forced upon you, like you said, I think you put it beautifully when you said, there are so many bags that you can take through that door.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, when it comes to relationships, they don't always do well with the growth. They don't always adapt to the new environment that you're going into or the headspace that you're trying to force yourself into. And when I say force, not in a negative way, but when you want to make a change, you have to force that change. You have to make the effort to make that change. And sometimes people have to fall by the wayside, whether it's because you were a toxic entity in that environment and you're changing and can no longer be a person in that, or if you are just changing environments and the environment that you were going to, the relationship isn't habitable there. There's no oxygen for that relationship to breathe to where you're going. Yeah. And it, like I said, it doesn't always have to be burning bridges. You're not always knocking over the table and, rage quit. Yeah. I'm out of here, man. It's over. Yeah. I've taken a lot of, again, I'm going to kind of refer back to that one quote to kind of hopefully close us out in this topic. To all of these folks that we have lost over this year of our growth. Again, it's not out of anger. There's no hate or, there may be a little bit of dislike, but, I think all of us as men take that route to, I'm not your enemy. I'm just not your friend.
Yeah.
Do you, man, grow, get your food in, enjoy your meal, but you're not eating with me.
Yeah.
Before we move, I want to ask you guys real quick, two things. Do you feel there was anything you could have done in those situations to change things, like to change the outcome of that situation in a more positive manner? And yay or nay. And then what did you learn from those situations?
I'll go first on that. I think there's definitely some things that I could have done different in that manner. Like I said, we were getting ready to shoot a video. It was an investment for him that I feel like I, unfortunately put him behind on.
Yeah.
I easily could have just swallowed my pride and put my head down and let it go and then try to get to the next day and shoot the video, make the music, whatever we're getting ready to do. But again, in trying to change my attitude and how I do things over last year to this, that's not who I am anymore. It's not who I want to be. And if something really aggravates me or is really uncomfortable for me in a situation, instead of just stewing in that, I'm going to remove myself from the situation.
Gotcha.
I could have handled it differently. Definitely could have handled it differently. Could have tried to sleep on it. Talked about it in the morning. We did go out for some drinks before everything kind of started off. We went to go get dinner and, sat at the bar. Had a couple of drinks at the bar while we were eating, watching some basketball game. I can't remember which one. I think it was the playoffs though. So yeah, definitely could have handled it differently. You can always handle the situation differently, but I think it was healthy. I think it was good for us. Honestly, we reconciled again. So we had never really gone through that. Yeah. So to show, to go through that as a friendship and be able to come back together shows strength and love for each other. But it also shows that other person like, hey, dude, he's not quite who he's always been. There's some growth, there's change, whether it's good or bad on both sides. So it's a little bit of a different relationship now, but there's still a relationship. So again, grateful for that. But
beautiful, man.
Definitely could be a little different. Could have been different. I could have done better. So could he have, in my opinion. So that's where we leave it.
Yeah.
I think with Free, it's helped me with future relationships and existing, all relationships for that matter. I've learned to be a lot more clear in my expectations. I don't know if you guys have noticed since then how when I ask you certain things, I'm like, hey, I need this because of this.
Yeah.
Or I'd like to see this because of that. Do it with my children. I've done it at work. I've done it with my wife, everything. Because I look back at it, and because it was kind of like that multiple times. Now there's some of that is a personality trait, but I could have been like, hey, dude, you can't keep doing this. I understand you got stuff going on. I hate to be the person that always says, like, when people go, I'm busy, to be like, you're not as busy as me. I won't say all that. I'm just going to stop there. But when you say you're busy, okay, I got it. I understand. But if I'm trying to work with you, please try to work with me. And I should have been a lot more clear about that. With my buddy of almost 20 years, I wish I wouldn't have fought like that in front of our friends. There was no place for that. And I wish I would have come at him a little less aggressive, still same message, but with less tough talk.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I'll be honest, I'm 40 years old and I'm too old for that. Somebody tries to come and fight me at my door, I'm calling the police. Yeah. I'm not throwing my career away over some dumb stuff. If I shared with the audience the origin of how this all came about, you guys would go, really? But it is what it is, and I'm hoping. And since then, when I've had arguments with people or disagreements, I've just learned to approach those differently. So I'm also grateful for these situations because it's made me a better person.
Yeah, I think for me, I wouldn't have been so self-destructive at that time in my life. I spent 5 years being self-destructive, living in a haze. You guys knew me. I was like, I'm a different guy now. I'd like to think that guy's like long dead and gone, but he still lives within me and I still battle with it every day.
Yeah.
I think I would have just been not so dependent on constant like reaffirmations, like from my colleagues and stuff. I think I should have left when I thought it was going to get better. I think I should have probably started looking for a job sooner than me having to let my bad habits get me fired. You know, there was a lot of self-growth that initiated from it. And I don't regret that it happened, but I know I shouldn't have done those things to get to where I am now. It sucks. It really sucks because being a bad guy for so long, in my opinion, like, yeah, people don't really care at the end of the day, but I care because I still live with those memories.
Yeah.
And the only thing I can do now is just try and do as best as I can every day and be happy with what I am and who I am inside and how I deal with things as they come instead of having to drown them out constantly and just trying to always find validation in people that don't really need to give me it. It was nice to get that. And it took me a firing. It took me banishment. It took me like just total separation from a whole situation, a whole group of people that I thought I was going to work with for a long time, you know, if not forever. And it's not healthy to think that way because I was just dependent on it. I thought there was status there. I thought there was a whole bunch of other things, but now I see that it's all relative. Success is personal happiness and personal gain and being proud of the work that you stand by. And your interpersonal relationship shouldn't have to suffer so much because of like cliquey politics. Like, you know? It just didn't fit in, man. It's fine. Sometimes shoes just don't fit. And I wasn't a good shoe for that foot, you know?
Yeah, it's a good way to put it.
That's a great way to put it, man.
Great way. So as we take that look back at relationships, I want to kind of broaden the spectrum a little bit. Again, it's been a crazy year from all of us. Again, if you've been following us since the beginning, we started this entire thing with a quitting wave. It's the thing that Carr is kind of referencing. It was same thing kind of going on with me. There's been a lot of change since then, and there's change going on now that we're going through. So I want to open up the horizon a little bit or broaden the horizon, I should say. Yeah. And as you look back at your year, at our year, your year, what stands out to you the most? What are you proud of? What did you see coming? What's been tough for you over this year of change?
So I'll write off what I just last said. So rock bottom for me last year at the same time. It was terrible. I hated it. I hated going through the whole thing. You guys saw me kind of just in this part, but you saw some fire in me during the test episodes that you kept kind of helping me push. And that was very valuable, man. I thank you. I think both of you guys, like, man, both of y'all, I love you guys. Like,
my man,
this was a crazy time for me in my life. And it's going to be silly. I love it because I got hired October 10th where I currently work. Not too long after, it was like Halloween, obviously. And it was Halloween day. I was there at the client. And you remember the Crow when Eric is like watching all the kids playing Halloween and they're running up, he's all happy and they're all smiling, all warm.
Yes.
So that literally happened to me, except it was a big guy dressed like Ursula from The Little Mermaid and a bunch of other girls dressed up as like loteria cards and like just dumb stuff. And I had that warm feeling in my heart. I was like, I'm supposed to be here.
Under the sea.
It was terrible, man. It was like, dang, Los Angeles, the city of angels. Anyway, no. It was, sorry. That was like an eye-opening thing for me too, because I had started helping. I started introducing myself to a whole new wave of people, and it was going away it was going my way. Yeah, it was going my way. And it was so warm. It was so inviting, and it was so nice just to be helpful for something that I was qualified for. And that really initiated this whole year. This was like a snowball after that of just good intentions and good propositions, and everything I set myself up for, I knew I could accomplish because I had a fresh start. And not everybody gets a fresh start, man. Like, it was such a blessing, but it took the genesis of me hitting rock bottom, getting a hand from you guys to get lifted up in a personal level for me to nail the interview, and for me to get pushed into a place where I could say, I can help you guys. And that was beautiful. This whole year has been the product of that horrible time. And I'm grateful. I really am. Every day I'm really grateful for the things that have happened. And I know every day is a different challenge. Like, I have different challenges now. It has just been a ride. This whole year has been a ride. And we have figured out how to make this thing work. We figured out how to make it go past discussions and just disagreements and all these things. And it just gets handled in a better way where it's not personal. It's not like stuck in some sort of limbo to where we can't just operate. The show has been a really big part of me that has helped me kind of spread my wings. So
I think the secret here, before you say what you're going to say, Trey, is Sheryl Crow. Every day is a winding road.
I'm not gonna lie, man. I'm gonna show my age. I was thinking some High School Musical. We soaring, flying.
Oh man.
And wait, are you showing your age or am I showing mine? That's the question. Dang. All right. Thanks for coming out. God bless you.
Okay. What were you gonna say, man?
Go ahead.
No, well, for me, answering my own question there. So if you've been here since the beginning, I was a restaurant manager for a long time, a decade. Started from the bottom, server, busser, up to running an entire restaurant. To not, it's been a hard transition. It still is a hard transition for me. But I've realized that 70-hour work weeks just weren't cutting it for me and my family and what I wanted to do. So we left that situation. I jumped around. I did a couple of odd jobs in between. I did finally, about a couple of months after I quit my job, found a new landing that I'm very excited for and very grateful for. It's been a difficult time, and this has been the toughest year of my life, in all honesty. I made a lot of money as a restaurant manager. I could complain about everything that the job, other people, the hours, just the way people act in restaurants. I can go on and on about that, but one thing I couldn't complain about is the money I made, man. And I knew when I made my choice, we were going to have some hardcomings, some shortfalls. So a late shout out to my wonderful wife, because without her, I don't think I'd be afloat anymore, man. I don't know where I would have went or how I would have handled this situation, but to have a rock that is just constantly in your corner pushing you, no, you're on the right path. It's not easy. It's hard. I never had to worry about how to pay my bills. I never really had to budget. I'm not going to lie. I was just, from a young age, I was making a lot of money. So my bills they came up, I paid them and just kept moving. I always had money in my account. if I wanted this, I got it. It's not like that anymore. We go to the grocery store, I have to count what I'm putting in my basket. We have a limit. No, you can't get that today. I'm sorry. No fruit snacks this week. My computer, it's working today. But there's things that, I've wanted to upgrade or make changes for, and I haven't been able to, and it's been tough.
Yeah.
But as I look back from where I was to where I am, I could not be more grateful, because for the first time in a long time, when I look at the road ahead, there are so many options and paths and ways to take things. It's all going to come down to me. That's the way change happens and the way you push forward. But when I look a year ago, I was already at the end. I spent 10 years in the restaurant. I was going to do that for the next 40 years, and I was not happy doing that. I felt like I can do more. I know I could have done more. I'm doing more. So it's been a tough one. Again, tough year, but I'm excited for the year ahead. And as we get past these struggles and these obstacles, I know that, man, that grass is, I know it's not always greener on the other side is what they say, but I know that I'm going to greener pastures. I can see them ahead of me. So
you're learning to do more with less.
yeah.
And don't get me wrong. Trust me, I understand. The less you feel, the less, especially with today's economy.
Yeah.
It's tough, but proud of you for trying to weathering the storm. You're not even trying. You're doing it. And that's something that, you know, you both have heard this before. People say you grow into your budget, right? You make more money, and then you're like, oh, but not a lot of people talk about going backwards.
Yeah.
You know, and taking less. Now you're taking a step back. You've taken a step back financially to go forward mentally.
Yeah.
You've got a better work-life balance.
Yeah.
You're sleeping more, I think.
Yeah, I am.
Okay, because you used to work some crazy hours.
Yeah,
I think you're sleeping more. You're eating better, even though you're making less. You're eating better. You know, you've got better benefits. You know, and your wife is also doing better. She's advancing in her career. So you're both on this upward trajectory. You said something about your girl having your back, your wife having your back. Another thing you didn't bring up, you entered a new relationship.
I got a girlfriend. Hey, girlfriend.
And from what we know about her so far, we haven't met her yet, and that's not picking on you, just we haven't met her yet.
No pressure.
But she sounds like, right, no pressure.
No pressure.
But she sounds like she's very supportive of you.
Yeah.
In the short time y'all have been together, you know,
Yeah.
it makes, I think I speak for both of us when I say this, it makes us happy to see her, man.
Happy as
Yeah.
heck.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I'm happy as heck too. I really, it's interesting learning about somebody who's so different than me, but I wouldn't have it any other way. I mean, I thought the perfect relationship was like y'all sharing things like to a hobby standpoint, but this girl couldn't be any more different. Like she is literally country and I am rock and roll. But I love it.
It sounds like you both need to move to Nashville.
I was Taylor Swift and she was the jock on the football field. Like, I was in marching band. And she was in softball when we were like kids and stuff. And it's just like totally different worlds.
Oh, wow.
But we talked about this last night. Like where we come together is our values.
That's the most important thing to come together for, though.
Yeah.
That's what makes it work.
And it's a beautiful thing because I have somebody now that I can bounce these things off. But at the end of it, it's like, yeah, I don't want you around when I'm playing video games. Like I want to miss you. Like I want to see you later, whatever you came back with. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
And I love that. I'm like, I don't want to see you right now. Like, it's in
No
a
way.
Yeah, but it's in a real healthy way where she does what she needs to do, and then I do what I like to do, and it comes in the middle, and then we find that perfect little spot where we all fit in together.
It's beautiful, man.
I sent you guys a photo where I was at the game yesterday, man. I loved it. Like,
Bro, y'all look so happy, like straight up. And you know, to your lady, she's a beautiful lady, man. You know, I was looking at the pictures, you and her little one. I was like,
I love her smile.
that's my boy.
Dog.
Yeah, that's my boy.
Dog.
Yeah, man.
Sorry, I'm a man. I'm superficial.
I love her smile, man.
She has a beautiful smile.
Yeah.
I'm happy, but I'm happy for both of you. You mentioned, and we started with the quitting wave 9 months ago. You took a leap of faith, which was, gosh, from the time you started a new job to we did the quitting wave. Was that about 6 months?
I think so.
So it's about 6 months. No, maybe a little bit less, but 4 to 6 months from that episode. You joined the quitting wave. You were in the midst of starting. You were already in the quitting wave.
I was in the fired wave.
Well, I wasn't trying to go there, but
I was fired wave.
you're comfortable saying it. So
I said, nah. Hey.
You were in the transitioning to a new career, to a new company wave, right? And I'm joining that wave starting October 9th.
Nice, man.
My employer.
Woo! There you go. Get it.
Let me just hit that sound.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna tell you where I'm working. Hey, we're close to going into overtime here, listeners. We're usually about an hour. We've been trying to, but we're probably going to go over 5-10 minutes over to be, fully
Lay it out, man.
Yeah, just a full disclosure. But I'll try to go through my stuff quick. I have had interviews up and down or on and off, that is, for the last couple years. My former team or former team. So the team that's going to be my former team, they have a good leader. He's a good manager. He's a nice guy. I feel like I'm leaving them in good hands. My teammate of 7 years, I was a contractor for 2.5 years, and I've been a full-time employee for the last 5. And this dude is not just my teammate; he's my friend. So, Squirrel, I know you don't listen to the show. You probably won't see the video, but I'm looking at the camera and I'm saying this to you, man. Thank you for your partnership, your leadership, your friendship. Most importantly, very few people that you could call friend at work who will call you when you're sick, who check on you when you're going through stuff, whom you could call and they know your kids' names. They know your wife's name, Yeah. So I wanted to start first and foremost just by saying that. And to my former manager, it's not too late to ask me to help you write that job description for my replacement. I just offered to help. I try to make sure I leave things in better shape than
flowers.
Yeah. Try not to burn bridges, preserve them. But no, I grew stagnant in my role. I don't want to go into all the details, but I felt like I wasn't getting the growth that I needed. And I'm going back to, for those of you who know me personally, I've been in cybersecurity for the last 5 years, and I transitioned from cybersecurity within the last year to legal. And I used to be part of IT at an oil company or a logistics company that does oil here in town. And that's what got me into doing e-discovery. And I did e-discovery there. That's what got me the job at my soon to be former employer. And it was never a legal role. It was in support of. And I've come to realize there's a reason why I've left that role. It's just not what I'm passionate about. I can do the job. I'm grateful for the relationships I've built. I've had a lot of people call me a traitor in the hallways. And one lady said, "Well, we're calling you a traitor because we're going to miss you." And that warms my heart, man, because with a company that as big as where Trey and I work, and it's huge, to have people actually stop and want to talk to you and tell you goodbye and send you random messages and give you, multiple hugs. It feels good, man. I'm going to miss them all. I wish I could have found something internally because I don't want to leave the company. I really didn't. Well, I didn't want to leave the company. I wanted to try to work something out, find something there because it's what I've come to know. But when one door opens, as mentioned earlier, you just can't take certain things with you. And so I have to go through that door to see what's on the other side. Right now I'm looking through that door and I see smoke and I'm like, is that a fire? Is that a smoke machine? Is that clouds? I don't know. There's something there. I'm going to walk in and see what's up with it. And, thank you to my future employer for taking a chance on me for reaching out to me. I wasn't looking actively for a position when I got it. They reached out to me and I think it's going to be what I need.
Yeah.
A blessing in disguise. I'm going back to cybersecurity. I specialize, I can say, I don't care. I specialize in insider threat. I really like that space. I really, really enjoy it. So, I get giddy talking about that.
Yeah.
I went through a period where, and I think I've talked to you both multiple times about it, and my cousin who lives out in the Bay Area, thought about changing careers. When I got frustrated, I started interviewing for jobs and I wasn't getting any bites. It didn't seem like people were taking me seriously. So I was looking at changing to project management because of everything we've done with the podcast. It's like, hey, I think I could do project management. I can make sure people keep on their task. And my cousin was like, that ain't you.
Yeah.
She's just like, you're not going to be happy doing that. So, I'm excited. I'm sad. I'm nervous. I don't know. I have a whole range of emotions, but I think it's what I needed. So
good, man. Well, don't want to speak for Car, but I know I can on this part where I said, we're just happy for you, man.
Thank you guys.
We know how it's been for you the last couple of months, couple of years, really. Kind of coming to this culmination. And if there's any advice that I can leave for you is, man, don't be scared. Take things, as they come. Take things chin up. Walk through that smoke to the other side. There may be something on the other side that you may not expect, but as you get there, you've had a lot of time to think about this, making this change and prepare for it. So as you get there, remember those things that you've went through in the past, because it's real quick and easy to be like, oh, no, I don't like that, and retreat back to a safety net or a comfort zone.
Right.
And so as you take this step, continue to be courageous. And even if you don't know where your foot's going to land, take that step forward as you move through with this new company. Because just because you're, again, getting into the door, it's a door that leads to a hallway of many doors. What kind of door are you going in? You don't know. But take that step, that leap of faith, and be proud of the accomplishment of taking that.
Yeah. No,
leap of faith.
I appreciate that, man. Go ahead, Car.
So, you ever read a book as a kid, or maybe you got it as a high school gift, called "Oh, the Places You Will Go"?
Oh yeah, my kids have that. They have at the end of the year, they have all their teachers sign it.
Yeah, this is just the next place you're going to go, man. Mm-hmm. And not to simplify it, we've had so many discussions, long nighttime discussions about stuff, because it just burned a hole in your heart, man. And I saw that firsthand, because the way things just didn't go or wanted to go, and expectations and this and that, we got to a certain point where I wanted it to just like be something that happened rather than us just prospecting for you. And I didn't mean to be like harsh, but like, just say less. And I like that we've established that in a respectful kind of way, because I loved hearing I got the job instead of,
I don't know.
Yeah.
And it's not because I didn't want to hear you try or anything. It's just, there was just so much invested that I had too in your ups and downs. And I just wanted to finally get you to ching.
Well, and that's why I didn't talk. Like I got superstitious.
Yeah, I feel the same, dude. I felt like something about the way the universe works. Like if you want something so bad, like before I got hired on to where I work now, I wanted real bad to work with Kodak for some reason.
I remember that.
Oh yeah, I remember that too. Yeah,
and like it just didn't happen because I think I loved it too much. Like it's something about the way the world works where it comes up where you don't really expect it. You half-heartedly throw a resume out there, they contact you or whatever, and then all of a sudden you get a second chance to nail an interview, and that's what happens.
Man, you fall in love with an idea.
Yeah, right? you fall in love with an idea, you romanticize it, and it ends up just building you up just to break you back down. And I'm glad that this one is your foot forward. And like, God, man, like it takes a real big person to like leave a comfort zone. And I've been trying to touch on this every time we talked about jobs. I'm just finally going to bring it up now. Do you know what the boiled frog theory is? So there's some study, some guy, I don't know names, I don't know nothing. But basically they say if you put a frog in a pot of water while it's like room temperature and you slowly put it to boil, it will never notice that the water is getting hot. It'll fall asleep and then cook itself. So you woke up, you got out of the boiling water. You didn't fall asleep and boil yourself, because anybody else would have been happy with the perks, the money, the this, the that. You could have just fallen asleep at your desk, figuratively or literally, and it could have just ended up burning you.
Dang, dude.
You're not a frog. You're not a frog. But
especially all the money that they give where they put in the water.
And I guess it never got brought up because it was meant for me to say this in this moment. Like you circumvented that what most people would not even realize, that they're in this boiling pot of water. And that's big, man. And I'm happy for you.
Thank you.
It's been like 2 years coming, dude. Like, like isn't it so nice to have a whole new set of challenges rather than being stuck with the same stuff in your pocket that you can't get rid of?
Man, I cannot, yes. The short answer is yes. I tried so hard to make things work where I am. Like, maybe it's a sign from God, whatever, that I'm supposed to be here. And then I get, hey, I'd have a good week. You guys will hear me. Hey, things aren't so bad. I think we're turning it around. And a week later, God, I was wrong. And then they'd be like, hey, I had a good day. And then I had a bad week.
It's even hour by hour, minute by minute.
Yeah, man. And it just, and I but I would try to, despite my internal struggles, I would really try to make things work because, again, I'm used to it.
Yeah.
And I felt like where I work is a company that I've wanted to work at for a very long time, you know, and I finally got in there. And I would be honest with you and say that I don't feel as I accomplished a personal goal because my intent was to retire where I am. So that's the goal I didn't accomplish, but I'm not kicking myself in the butt over it because I understand that conditions and circumstances change. I'm also going to give a shout out to a very big tech company I interviewed with a few days before I had that interview that I didn't get a job with because they were the confidence booster. They made me realize that I can do this. They own a very large search engine. They do a lot of code and they're into AI. And I may or may not have one of their wireless access points in my house. I'll leave it at that. Rhymes with Noogle. Anyway, please don't strike down my YouTube videos.
We love you, YouTube.
Right. No, that interview was one of the best interviews I had in my life. It was such a confidence booster. So when I went into the interview with my soon-to-be new employer, I felt like I was riding a high.
Yeah.
It reminded me of why I got into this space and how much I love it and how much I've learned from it. And, you know, my advice to listeners out there, when you go into your interviews, you're looking for new jobs and you get rejected, because believe me, you're going to get rejected.
Yep.
You're probably going to get rejected more than you get accepted, because if you got every job you applied for, you'd have one heck of a dilemma on where you want to work.
Yeah.
It'd be an embarrassment of riches, but it's one heck of a dilemma. So try to learn from those interviews. See those interviews as practice for the next one. Understand that it wasn't the right fit for you. Sometimes it's not even about what you know. It's a personality thing. Sometimes they have other people in mind. You know, take it in stride and go, you know what? Especially if you left nothing on the floor, as they say in sports, right? Or you left nothing on the field. You gave it your all, and you know that you killed the subject matter and you're a subject matter expert. Don't be mad at yourself. Say, you know what? Just wasn't the right fit. I'll get the next one. If I don't get the next one, I'll get the next one. And keep rolling. So that's exactly what I did. When I had that interview, man, I was just like, this is incredible. Like, that felt good that a company of that stature was like, I'll say this. Basically, what didn't give me the position is I'm not the strongest coder. I can code, but I'm not proficient. I'm like in between a beginner and intermediate. You know, I use a lot of AI to help me formulate code. And the guy said I was borderline, but the recruiter I worked with was trying to submit me for other jobs internally still, you know, for a while, at least. Not anymore. I told her she can it because I'm here now, where I'm going. But they wanted to keep trying because the person I interviewed with and the recruiter I worked with saw something in me that fit their company. It just didn't work out for that particular position. Yeah. I'm honored that they kept trying, because a company that size, usually it's like, yeah, we're done. See you later.
Bye.
Yeah. So that means a lot. I feel very blessed.
You got a door in your back pocket whenever that wants to open.
Yeah.
We'll see.
You never know. You never know what happen if you go knocking, man.
Where I'm going, most people have been working there for a very long time. So
it's always a great sign.
This may be the place I retire. Who knows? I hope so, because, you know, looking for a new job sucks.
Yeah.
But it's better to look for a job when you have one versus when you don't.
Yeah.
So,
all
right, fellas.
I think it was beautiful, man. If there's one thing to say as we wrap this up, as always, it's a pleasure. If you're listening, remember that where you are now to where you can be in a year can be a completely different space. So don't box yourself in. Yeah. Take that risk, take that leap, take that opportunity. Don't let your pride or anything offset that. It's always a pleasure, man. Again, I've loved doing this with y'all for the last year. I can't wait to see what we do this next year. Like E said, you can catch us now. Search Way with a Few Shore on YouTube, and you'll see some episodes coming up at Way with a Few Shore on Instagram, WFS Show on X. Even on
Facts.
Facebook now. Wave of the
Yes.
Future on Facebook. We're there. We're growing. Our platform is expanding. So stay tuned this year because we've got a lot of great things in store for year 2.
Yes, and we really appreciate y'all sticking around. It's been a long episode. You know, we haven't had an episode this long in quite a long time. So we had a lot to say.
Yeah.
But we love you all.
Peace.